Okay, once again, I have to talk about something that's really pissing me off. Is this idea that somehow Joe Biden is going to wreck the country because he's surrounded by the radical left. And that is a joke. It's stupid. I heard Trump even say it. And I don't know, I'm assuming they can't be that stupid, because Joe Biden is about as far from the radical left as anyone would be. We have a situation where, yes, he could wreck the country, probably will, just as bad as Trump is wrecking the country. So, just, stop talking about the radical left as something that is actually has any type of power or any kind of say in the Democratic Party whatsoever. When you're talking about the radical left, okay, you're probably talking about the people that were looting, the people that want to get rid of the police, some of these crazy ideas, and anybody that has a brain is not going to be defunding the police. What they might do is they might take some of the money that's going to the police department and move it over into social services, and have some extra funding for the mentally ill. We have homeless problems. We have a lot of problems. But if you think that Joe Biden is going to fix any of them, you've got another thing coming. He is a corporatist. He is surrounded by billionaires, just like Trump is surrounded by billionaires, and they all have their huge lobbies, and they are saying basically, they are giving orders to the politicians. This is what you will do. This is what you will not do. Now, I know that Trump can't be that stupid. Maybe he is, but I don't think he can be that stupid to think that Biden has surrounded him by the radical left. It probably puts fear into the hearts of a lot of conservatives, rednecks and things like that. So that must be the reason that he's saying it. But Joe Biden is surrounded by assholes. He's surrounded by morons. He's surrounded by people that have had economic policies that were disastrous. He was involved with the investigation and infiltration of the Trump campaign. We know now that the Russian connection was a hoax. If anybody would actually just sit down and look at the data, look at the information, when you've got the guy that's in charge of YouTube and Google saying that the Russians spent about $4,500 on ads, and that half of them actually happened after the election, then what are people talking about? I have never seen so many stupid people in such a small area called Washington, D.C. It's amazing that we are even still a country. We need to sweep away this insanity. But the only way we're going to do it is we've got to get money out of politics, and we have got to break the back of the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, because they are the anti-democratic wing of the Democratic Party. They want to see their bought and paid for candidate. They put up a guy that can barely put two sentences together, and they think that he's going to somehow beat Trump. Well, they won't even let him outside. They don't even want him talking to anybody. So if he wins, it's going to be by default, because Trump will have screwed up so bad that people will just vote for, the dog catcher or whoever is on the ballot that's opposite of Trump's name. So once again, in ending here, If you think that Joe Biden is going to fix anything, if you think he's going to do anything different than what's going on now, then think again. This guy, it was for NAFTA. It was a complete disaster. It has destroyed Mexico. It absolutely destroyed Mexico. And that's one of the reasons why we have so many people from Mexico trying to get across the border. Because if there's food on one side of the border and you're starving to death on the other, let me think, which direction are you going to go? Okay? Are you going to take a risk? Because you're going to die anyway. Okay? So when NAFTA came in, you had all these factories rush down across the border. The wage at that time was 57 cents an hour. That was the average wage in the maquiladoras. And you should have seen some of the conditions of these housing areas. They were boxes. They were made out of cardboard and corrugated boxes. They had open sewer running down the middle of the street. It was a disgusting mess. But NAFTA allowed our corporations to go rushing down there to leave our own population hanging out to dry while they go snap up all of these 57 cents an hour laborers to run the machines, to build cars and washing machines and all the crap that we used to make that we can't anymore. He's not going to fix that. He's not going to change that. And that's our problem. That is the problem. And one of the other things that I heard today, which makes me absolutely want to throw up, is that somehow Venezuela is a failed state because of socialism. And if anybody believes that, then they are an idiot. They have not read history. They don't know anything about Chavez. They do not know what's going on down there. The reason their economy is wrecked is because we've had sanctions against them. We are preventing medicine from getting into that country. We are preventing food from getting into that country. We are blocking oil shipments into that country. That country is on its knees for one reason and one reason only. The oil companies got kicked out, went to the federal government and said, oh, please, can't we get back in there? What are we going to do? Well, let's just call Chavez a communist and a dictator, and he kills his own people and maybe even gasses his own people, and make up a big giant bullshit story, and then wheel in that moron John Bolton, wheel that idiot in that wants to just burn scorched earth policy. Anybody that won't allow the American empire to dominate, somehow he's got a great idea. Let's bomb them back to the Stone Age. It's incredible that we're even alive right now. So start. I keep saying it. Pick up a history book. There's a lot of history books in school that are total crap. One of the things that have been just completely erased from American history is the impact that we had by the socialist and the communist parties in the United States in the 1910s and 1920s. We had a large movement of people that saw the evils of capitalism. They saw what was going on, where the rich kept getting richer, the poor kept getting poorer. It's built into the capitalist system. When you allow capitalism to run rampant, unbridled, to do whatever it wants, it will suck the country dry for the very small rich that run it, and it ends up turning into a feudal system. Now, socialism is basically capitalism with regulation and with wage distribution, so that the billionaires that are trying to wreak havoc have some limits as to what they can do. They cannot crush the population. They should be allowed to make some money if they want. Once again, I've said I don't think billionaires should exist. What would you do with $1 billion? Do you think you could spend it in a lifetime? I highly doubt it. So, but if you want to buy up an election like Bloomberg, somebody asked me the other day about what happened to Tulsi Gabbard. Well, remember, she was not allowed on the debates because she missed a couple of the polls that were taken where it showed that she had maybe had 4% instead of 5%. But lo and behold, here comes Bloomberg with his hundreds of millions of dollars and his big donation to the Democratic Party. Oh, well, let's let him in. He can be in the debate, but we're not going to have any people in there that might have a view that the Democratic Party doesn't like. Well, Bloomberg made a total ass out of himself. When somebody asked him, do you think you're really worth $66 billion? And he said yes. He worked hard for that. He destroyed lives for that. The only way that you can make billions of dollars is by destroying people's lives, sucking them dry, okay? There's no other way to do it, and that's how it gets done. So I'm going to close. I'm just pissed. I'm going to stay pissed for a while. But good luck voting for your Joe Biden if he even makes it down there. It's going to be crucial who he picks for vice president because that's who's probably going to run the country. So anyway, have a good evening, and I will be back in a couple of days. Thank you very much.